we're going to start with something very simple. Honey's some of the oldest food product out there, and cheese is right along with it. And the combination of cheese and honey is just incredible. And it's so simple, right? There's not much to do except put it together. So we're actually right here, we have a little bit of your honeycomb, and we have an aged cheese here. And with honey, when you get those aged cheese, that's what you really want. So like a highly processed young cheese is not going to give you the same kind of flavor profile as getting a quality aged cheese.
Okay, so aged cheese goes best with honey.
Yes.
I'll tell people that.
Yeah,
okay.
Definitely. We're going to add your honey to it.
Yeah, a lot of people ask me if you can eat the honeycomb, and you can eat the whole thing.
Yeah.
It's all edible. That's fabulous.
Isn't that? Mm-hmm. I mean, and look how simple it is. What did you have to do? You went, you purchased cheese, you purchased honey, and you put it on the board.
I want some more.
Okay, we're gonna go with cheese,
Yeah.
some honey, but before you do that, this wants to stay.
You can...
I'm gonna use a little cracked black pepper.
Ready? Mm-hmm. I've never had it like this. How did you come up with that? That's so good.
I wish I could say that that was all my idea, but this is just stuff that goes back time and time.
I will always do that from now on.
Yeah. So when you're having a nice spread for a party, you know, sometimes people think, like, I got to put a lot of stuff out. Sometimes if you just put the little basics out, the simples, it's so impactful, and that's all you have to do.
And look how fancy that is. That's nice.
Beautiful. We're gonna cook to create an ingredient for later. It's called hot honey. So this is very simple to start. Honestly, this is the easy process. All you wanna do is just open up your peppers. I like to do stem, seed, pepper, all when I'm doing this, because it's not something you're going to necessarily eat. What we're doing is we're gonna warm this in the honey, and we're gonna extract the spiciness out of the peppers. So it's very simple. We're gonna use your honey, and we're gonna do a blend, if that's okay with you.
Yeah.
So we have early spring, late fall. That just goes into the pan. Chilies go in. And you just think of this as making tea. Now with this amount of honey and that amount of pepper, this would be a very spicy.
How do you know how to measure?
How to measure, it's really up to personal taste. Experimenting with the different peppers, different honeys, the amounts of each, till you find out what you want. And you're just gonna cook this on a very low temperature for about an hour to extract all that capsaicin into the honey, which is what makes the honey hot. So we made hot honey, and now we're gonna have to make something to put hot honey on. New York and Brooklyn, there's this new trend happening, and I happen to love it. They kind of stole the hot honey out of the South and said, we're not putting it on chicken, we're putting it on pizza. Because it's New York, right? So everything goes on pizza.
I've never heard of that.
Okay, so in New York, it's a big thing going on, and I have a feeling we're gonna start seeing that kind of out. So we're gonna kind of be ahead of the curve right now.
Okay, I love it.
We're gonna make some pizza.
Okay.
Okay, so the magic of television.
It smells so good.
The pizza's done.
I know.
Let's just take the hot honey and drizzle it over top of the pizza.
My mouth is actually watering right now. Ready?
Salute.
Okay. Oh, wow. That honey is fabulous on there.
Now, I wanted to bring you recipes that showcase honey that's not a dessert, that's not sweet, that's not, you know, and show people that you can utilize honey with your savory dishes. So we have a steak tip recipe today that we're going to do, and it involves honey and it involves bourbon.
Okay.
So, and steak. I mean, that's
pretty,
it's
sounds
pretty
good,
right? So this marinade for the steak tips is very simple. It's obviously, I use the hot honey,
Okay.
bourbon, soy sauce, brown sugar, and some garlic. I'm gonna throw the marinade for the steak together, and I'm very interested also in this whole extraction of honey process.
Okay.
Could you kind of tell me what
Yeah.
that's all about?
So extracting the honey is a long, hard process. We go to the hives and take the smaller boxes that are on top, called the supers. We take those, and so we have to try to keep the bees as calm as possible, and they're okay. You know, we keep them safe, but we do want to take those boxes off. We bring them back here. We have a big machine that's called an extractor, and we put the individual frames down in the extractor and then plug it in. It spins around and spins around, and the centrifugal force makes all the honey come out. So we lightly strain it just once, and that's all it is. Then we just bottle it.
Okay.
Everything that we bottle is raw.
You know what's really interesting to me is that here's an animal that literally produces its own food source. You know, an insect, an
I always say
animal. It's like-
my pets make me dessert every
Right.
day. That's,
Yeah.
you know, no other pet will do that for
It's
you.
incredible, like that they have learned to do that. Like you'd think human beings are the only ones that know how to do that, but bees have been doing it far longer than we have.
Smart bees.
So you cut your steaks up into cubes and marinate them in that marinade for an hour at least. You could do it overnight. I went overnight with it just to get a really nice marinade on it. Okay.
Okay.
You want your pan heated before you put your oil in. Okay. A little bit of oil. And then you're going to take your steak pieces. So a lot of home cooks think that what you see at the bottom of this pan is burnt and you want to get rid of it. But you're going to see later when we add the next element to this dish, which is mushrooms, we're going to use that to flavor the mushrooms. So we're going to cook the mushrooms in that. And what it is the caramelization of the sugars. So in this case, the honey, but also just the natural sugars in the food. And that all just makes stuff taste good. So we have a fancy mushroom here.
I've never seen that mushroom before.
It looks like a very...
Looks like it, yeah, right, lupa.
Yeah, so it's called a pom-pom mushroom, and quite honestly, the reason I'm utilizing it, Michelle, is we're doing a TV show, and it looks fancy, right?
It is a fancy mushroom.
That's why I'm utilizing it. For this recipe, you can use any mushroom you want. I'm gonna cook it separately from everything, but we're not cleaning the pan out. If you clean the pan out, you waste all of that.
And that's all
goodness.
flavor.
That's all flavor. That's all the marinade, that's all the caramelized onions. So you just want to get these, and you're cooking these separately because they cook at separate times, right? So if you put the mushrooms in too early, then you're going to overcook your mushrooms. And for me, that's done.
All right.
So we'll just add that to the steak tips. The timeless thing is just always adding some green
Okay.
to brighten up the dish. Jump in here and
Should
try
we
this
allow
out.
Jim? Jim's
Yeah.
done all the work with the honey,
He
right?
did. He did.
He's
did a
Jim,
lot.
come on. That is delicious.
You like that? Love it.
That sweetness of the honey and the brown sugar.
Right.
Oh, wow. Will you come back tomorrow and cook for us?
Sure. Absolutely.
We can go to the hives and get you some more honey.
All right.
Wow, that's good.
As a chef, I always look forward to find out where our food comes from. I did have a great time with Michelle, and I'll tell you what, I think my day is ending and her day is just starting.